this video, I'll give you the tight end values you can find in different parts of your fantasy football drafts. I'm Jim Coventry of Rotowire. All right, Mark Andrews currently going as the tight end 5. I know different drafts, you might go a little sooner, I get that, but Fantasy Mojo, my go-to ADP, has him kind of locked in that spot, and he's been there most of the summer. I need you to do the first thing about Andrews. I'm hearing all these people, oh, he's hurt all the time, injury risk. Hey, he got hurt last year. Hip drop tackle, put him out, week 11 on. I get it. Before then, Andrews missed 5 games in 5 years. That's it. The people that are saying he's injury prone do not have a clue where they're getting that from. It's not accurate. That's getting you a value in drafts. Now, Mark Andrews last year, you got to understand, one of the games he did miss was week 1. And then in week 2 and 3, his numbers were down. It was clear he was battling back from injury. From week 3 until week 10, remember week 11, he got hurt. He was the same player we had seen in prior years. He was on pace for over 900 yards. Still the guy for Lamar Jackson, and it will continue to be that way. A seam stretcher. Just a great option also in the red zone. But here's the beauty of it. Lamar Jackson really was doing better in that passing offense from week 12 on. We saw him grow as a passer. Mark Andrews wasn't there. Well, now Andrews steps back into an offense that's going to add more layers. It's going to build on what Jackson did really well. Andrews is going to be in the thick of this because, again, love Zay Flowers, but Mark Andrews is the man for Lamar Jackson. And so, look, you got to remember, Andrews is one of 5 tight ends that have 1,000 yards in the last 5 years. He had 1,300. He ain't getting 1,300 again. I get that. But 1,000, I do not see that as a big problem. He'll typically get you at least 847 yards in a full season. I think the only time he didn't do it was like 2020. He had 701 yards and 7 touchdowns. Still a good season. I have Andrews as my tight end 2. I am not changing that ranking. You can wait a little bit to draft him. If he doesn't come to tight end 5 and you miss him, not the end of the world. But if you get him at tight end 5, I really think you have a steal on your hands. All right, Pat Freiermuth, his ADP's moved up a little bit throughout the summer. Fantasy Mojo has his ADP as tight end 13 in the very recent drafts. Pat Freiermuth was terrible last year. Let's just get that out of the way. Last year, the offense was dysfunctional. I'm going to go back to 2022, though. 732 yards, 6 targets per game, 7.5 yards per target. His targets last year fell from 6 to 4 per game. His yards per target, 7.5 to 6.6. Yes, it was a horrible season for Freiermuth, and he had the beauty of playing with Kenny Pickett for most of that season. Well, Arthur Smith comes in, and I understand. You're going to say, well, wait a minute. Didn't he destroy Kyle Pitts' fantasy value? He did, because he used Kyle Pitts as a deep threat. Kyle Pitts was seeing average depth of target 99th percentile, lowest percentage pass you could see. And also, those passes were from Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke. When you have the lowest percentage play from terrible quarterbacks, what do you think is going to happen? Bad season. But who didn't do badly? Jonnu Smith, another tight end. 582 yards for Jonnu Smith. 2023, last year, Atlanta. 160 targets went to Pitts and Jonnu Smith. Now, Pat Freiermuth isn't seeing 160 targets, but we have Darnell Washington, tight end. He looks like he's 300 pounds, listed at 280 or so. He's an offensive lineman. He might catch a few passes. Connor Hayward, see if he makes the team. I'm recording this before those cuts are in. That's it. Michael Pruitt might get a few targets. He played in Atlanta. Pat Freiermuth, it would be stunning if Pat Freiermuth didn't see the same 110 targets that Kyle Pitts saw in 2021, but the quality of targets would be much better. Remember, they may have drafted Roman Wilson. He's a slot receiver. Well, guess what? The Steelers are going to run probably what the Falcons did, 80% heavy personnel. What's not on the field when you're going heavy? A slot receiver. So Roman Wilson shouldn't be an issue. Who is their other outside receiver? Van Jefferson? Kelvin Austin? Come on. Pat Freiermuth is the clear number 2 in this offense. You are getting a steal. If you punt on tight end, he is the way to go. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the Rotowire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Also, you can check out all of our fantasy football content and rankings. You can get a free 2-day trial. No credit card needed. Head on over to rotowire.com/Jim. You can check out all of our content. All right, let's give you Luke Musgrave, tight end 18 off the board. If you need a second tight end, if you're in a tight end premium league, you need a second tight end, you're drafting a backup for some reason, you're in a deep league and you need a flex, Musgrave you could consider. The week-to-week consistency, that one's going to probably be tough because the Packers have a really good group of 4 receivers. But Musgrave is going, in my mind, to be the lead receiving tight end. And some people are going to say, well, what about Tucker Kraft? All right, let's get to him in a minute. Musgrave, in his first 9 games, hit at least 49 yards 5 times. And remember, the Packers offense was really figuring things out until after week 10. So Musgrave was good when the offense was scuffling. He was injured in week 12, missed 6 games, and he missed out on a lot of the fun that happened after that bye when the offense really got going. Now, Musgrave was 59th percentile yards after the catch, so very good in that capacity. But let's talk about the injury. After the injury, well, I should say before, Musgrave was playing 45 to 60 snaps. He was the clear receiving tight end. And then we saw Musgrave come back week 18, 2 playoff games, and he's averaging 14 snaps while Tucker Kraft is playing. And people are saying, oh, Kraft passed him. No, Musgrave was clearly not ready to come back. The team was trying to get him into the lineup, and they gave him some snaps to work in with the team. Kraft was drafted to be the blocker. Musgrave was drafted to be the receiver. They both can do a little of both, but Musgrave has not relinquished that role in my mind in any capacity. So if you're drafting a second tight end, again, the week-to-week volatility may be a little bit dicey, but and tight ends are, if you don't have a top 6 guy, you're going to get it bounced around. Musgrave is a definite player that you want to look at in that area of your draft.